Matt, again, I define wellness as being the healthiest, fittest, and happiest you can be. What are three strategies or tactics to get and stay well?
Great question. So my first one is, I guess, kind of, I'll go from broad to narrow. My broad one is take really small steps when you're creating changes. Typically diving in, overnight change, flipping the switch is not the best answer. It might seem like it for the first 5 days while everything's cranking along and your willpower has not been, taxed yet, but it is getting taxed. And you don't know. And then the day's going to come along when your friends are going out to happy hour or whatever it is, and your perfect setup that you've been, this fantasy you've been living, that everything has changed and you're now different, that will come crashing down because that's what happens. That's what happens with willpower. When it goes, it goes. And then because you've lost your perfectionist fantasy, you now think, well, I'm done. Now it's not worth even having this next meal healthy because I already messed up. So I took 4 years to go from omnivorous to vegan. Nobody has to take that long. But I tend to think that if you take a month to do it, you give yourself maybe a week, like where you're just having your breakfast as plant-based, another week where it's now breakfast and lunch, and so on. Or go try a few weeks where you're plant-based at home and you're still omnivorous out. And then, after that, make it so you're only omnivorous out on the weekends and so on and so on. These small steps, to me, they give you a chance to learn the new habit. They give your body a chance to adapt. They let you learn how to handle things socially. Obviously, I'm speaking right now about going plant-based, but it could also apply to running, right? Like, you don't have to go out and run a mile 5 times a week to become a runner or to become fit. You can start with 2 minutes a day. And you're not going to get the progress in the first month. It's going to seem like you're really not going anywhere. But if you look a year down the road, I think the person who starts with 2 minutes a day is much more likely to be someone who has now run consistently throughout the whole year at increasing amounts, obviously, because progress is an important part of this. You can't just stagnate at 2 minutes a day. But starting small and having the patience to accept that you're not going to see physical results, but you are building this invisible habit in your head. I think that's probably the most important tip I have for wellness. So that's my general one. A very specific small steps approach for me that I really like is to drink a smoothie and eat a big salad every single day. That's a pretty small step. It might be too big of a step for most people, or not for most, for some people. And if you think that seems like a lot, if you find yourself struggling with even a couple of days of that, then just do one of those things. Just have the smoothie, just have the salad, do the oatmeal instead of the smoothie if you want. But those two meals, to me, they help keep me on track, because if I kind of just mess up, if I go out and have whatever kind of vegan fast food I happen to have, if later I get back to have a salad, like it just kind of gets me back on track. So I like that as my small one. And then my very most specific habit, this is just something that has worked for me. Paying attention to my sleep, like getting a sleep tracker. I'm not really into trackers and data and stuff like that, but I've realized in the past few months that paying attention to my sleep, it's one of those habits that I think of it as like an anchor habit. It sort of pulls everything else in the right direction, just like the smoothie and the salad. Like I said, once I started paying attention to my sleep, I started paying attention to how I ate and how I drank in the hours before I'd go to bed. So suddenly there was this benefit. I started noticing that when I worked out in the day, I would sleep better. So then I have this extra reason to actually work out in the day. And so it's just one of those things. It's like a little game. And if I'm trying to maximize how well I sleep, it turns out that I'm also maximizing how well I am living throughout my day. So maybe sleep isn't it for everybody, but if you can find that anchor habit, that one that just pulls you to make the right choices, then that can be life changing. So it's been sleep for me, but look for yours.